Stefan, you've gone red.
Oh no! It's just a power cut. Oh, the power's gone out. We can't communicate with VAR.
Right?
So we're
Okay.
have to postpone.
I was going to start with we are top of the league again, but you've gone straight in with it. Thank God for VAR.
Oh no!
I'm glad that 40-minute delay. Look, we wouldn't have won that game, unjustly so. But VAR still missed the offside for their penalty that stood.
Here's the thing, right? So overall, we probably were quite lucky, and VAR went our way, and all those sorts of things. Which is why I'm going to take this opportunity to say VAR needs to get in the bin. It needs to get in the bin, because what it isn't is the use of video to fill in those moments when the referee's awareness is elsewhere, frankly.
Okay, right, hang on. Do you think, so let's talk about the Gabriel incident right at the end, because the referee did not give that. It was his assistant that gave that. Do you think the assistant would still, and I can understand why the referee didn't see that, because of the angle he was in, he wouldn't have seen which came first. You know, I get that. That's fine.
He also didn't give Bamford tripping or pushing over Gabriel. So
no, he didn't. But the referee assistant saw obviously the retaliation, the Patrick Vieira part, as opposed to the Van Nistelrooy part. I wonder if VAR didn't exist, would the referee's assistant have given that same decision? I don't know, because they know they've got that fail-safe. They can get it wrong, and they know VAR will correct them if they are.
And I've also got a point. Like, okay, because what he's done, he's given the red card to Gabriel, and he's given the penalty to Leeds, okay, because Ramsdale hadn't picked the ball up by that point. However, if it's violent conduct, it shouldn't matter whether or not it's a penalty or not.
But he probably
should have been sent off anyway.
No, but he's looked at the incident and there was no contact. It was.
I totally agree. I feel like it's
if we put VAR back to the Van Nistelrooy Patrick Vieira incident, then Vieira's not getting sent off.
Again, I feel like we're missing the point. The fact that we're talking about this, the fact that there might even be a hint of grey areas, shows that it's got nothing to do with VAR. Then it should be about the referee on the pitch making the best decision he can make with what it is. If he misses something, if there's a punch up down the other end, or if a player takes a bite out another player's leg that he doesn't see when they're wrestling on the ground, then that's what VAR should be for. If it's just, okay, that decision you saw, have a look at it again. No, forget it. Just get on with the bloody game, because being there, let alone the 40-minute delay, because heavens above, we can't have a football match without VAR anymore. The whole spectacle is just ridiculous. And the people who know the least of what's going on are the people who have paid money and travelled far and wide to actually bloody be there.
And to are risking missing their train home as well.
And to give the Premier League the atmosphere that they sell this product on for billions around the world in order to feed the football clubs, of which ours is a massive benefit of massive benefit to. We're the ones who know the least of what's going on. It's an absolute sham. Football is eating itself from within with this whole situation, because it's not even about the referee's decisions so much, because you can forgive a ref getting things wrong on occasion. What is unforgivable is the delay and the I don't know, the impotence with celebrating goals, and just the whole petulant nature of everyone doing everything, knowing that we can just stop and have a look at things, and players playing up to it as well. And I'm fed up with the whole bloody thing. Sorry.
I should have waited till the start of this to put the kettle on.
It just was ridiculous.
The only thing I will wholeheartedly agree with what you said there is is we said right towards the end actually is I no longer celebrate a goal the way I used to.
Then what's the point?
No, I agree. As I said, I wholeheartedly agree with that. And that's at the game. On TV, that's not quite the case because when we're at the game where we sit, we have no idea whether it's offside either end, really. So we're always second guessing that. Whereas on TV, you'll know, you could quite easily know if there's been a tug or a push or or something like that.
Like how long as well? Think back to the Man United situation with Odegaard, and the foul he made in the run up to Martinelli's goal. Like the statute of limitations on these plays and how far you go back.
Well, did you see the City goal that was disallowed?
No, we because of our match delay, we would have been either watching it in the pub, but actually we'd have probably gone off, and I haven't watched it.
Because it was pulled back for a tug and a shirt by Haaland on.
Was that Haaland pulling Fabinho down? I have seen that.
Oh, yeah. So it was a foul in real time, but that referee, I mean, the game, that second half was mental, the Liverpool City game. It really was. It was totally enthralling. And part of that was because the referee just didn't blow up for anything. I mean, and I was getting, as a neutral, I was getting fed up with the commentator saying how great this is because I was getting stressed about it because there were obvious fouls. And he was like 5 yards away. And what I didn't realise from what Guardiola had said in his post-match interview, that the referee had got the two managers together before the game started and said, "I'm going to let a lot go. It's a physical game." So he'd said that. So Guardiola was livid because his argument is that the ref had seen the incident. He was only a few yards away from it and waved play on. But because a goal was scored, and they pulled it back to that. So that's why Guardiola was livid. It was a free kick, right? So it was a foul. The goal shouldn't have stood. It was a foul, but the referee should have blown up before that. And Klopp is now facing a touchline ban because there was another foul on Salah, and it was the most blatant of fouls. I mean, in real time, the linesman is 3 yards away from it, nothing. And so I'm turning your anti-VAR rant into an anti-official rant because it's the officials in charge of VAR, and the officials are incompetent, and they are like the Bamford penalty. Going back to that, the one that was legitimately awarded. Sorry, no, that's wrong. The Bamford penalty that he missed should never have stood because there was an offside in the build-up to the goal. The person receiving the ball was offside. The linesman, who then amazingly saw a red card and a penalty for Leeds a bit later on, missed, he wasn't narrowly offside, and the Leeds player was nearest him. He was like a yard, there was daylight between him and the furthest, the deepest Arsenal defender, but he didn't see it. But then the technology VAR is there. There's some idiot in Stockwell, wherever that place is called, looking at and not even seeing so if it's a decision that affects a goal, like a penalty in that case, or the red card and a penalty later on, the 91st minute, then VAR's there, and we would not have. We'd have lost that game, and we'd be playing the next 3 games without Gabriel at centre back. So VAR has prevented that from happening, in spite of the officials involved, not because of them. So I just think, it's taken that spontaneous eruption out of the game. It's certainly numbed it, so it has. But would I rather be sitting here delighted that VAR was a thing of the past, but having lost undeservedly so to Leeds at Ellen Road, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I've sold my soul.
I feel like they're sort of two sides of the same coin. Referees are not very good, and the officials aren't very good, and they weren't very good before. But I feel like they're getting worse because they've got this safety net of being.
I don't think they're getting worse because of VAR. I think there were no referees at the World Cup. Look, before VAR,
that's what I mean.
No English referees. English referees have been declining in quality for years.
I think VAR is accelerating it because if you know you've got the safety net of basically going back to have a look again, you don't have to make a call, so you hesitate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just rubbish. And the fact that we're talking about this, we've had our best start to a season probably ever, literally ever, and we're sat here bemoaning it. And it's not even the outcomes, because most of us agree that Leeds were the better side on Sunday by bloody mile. We were so far off it
in the second half. Yeah,
it was a wonderful second goal. It was a wonderful goal, that we scored, but otherwise we were pretty.
Jesus should have scored his chance, and Erdegaard had a couple of weak shots, but yeah, that was pretty much
Ramsdale was called upon a couple of times.
Well, he's the man of the match, wasn't he? So
stoic. Leeds were the better side. They could feel aggrieved the way we did away at Man United. So,
but you get games of football. You get God, we've come away winning games. Look, Man City won the league last year by what, 1 point? Well, they could quite legitimately point to their game at our ground and say, well, we didn't deserve to win that, but we got away with one. And again, refereeing decisions. I mean, that was a nailed-on penalty for us, wasn't given. Bit of an iffy penalty for them, given. And then Gabriel sent off by a card. I've got no complaints about the red card. That was on him. But they could look at that. And so I'll take, I'm not saying we're going to win the league, but we might, we might clinch fourth spot by 1 point or lose out on, we might have lost out on fourth spot by 1 point. And it could have been that Leeds United game away being completely pivotal to that falling either way. We will play badly and win games. That's every successful team does that because it's impossible to play well all the time. And we played well at Man United and lost. We didn't deserve to lose that game, so it does go the other way as well. And a dodgy VAR intervention as well that disallowed the goal and negligible contact. But
it's just all the time. It's so relentless and it's so boring.
Okay, right. The next. From now on, it's a VAR-free zone, right?
It's not going to be though, is it?
No, for the duration of this podcast.
Oh, right.
Duration of this podcast.
Okay.
So, is now too soon to get carried away?
Yes, very much so.
How about now?
We've got a World Cup to get through where. I mean, players are dropping like flies. Liverpool's Jota has been ruled out for Portugal. There's so many games. They're coming thick and fast. Players are going to either be injured and then use the World Cup to recover, which we're hoping Smith Rowe will do for us, or they're going to go away to the World Cup and they're going to come back jaded or injured, and teams have got to survive that. No one's going to have a real idea of where everyone sits until I think the end of January. Maybe.
Is Norway in the World Cup?
No.
Damn it. Yeah. Oh, well, we got Erdegaard. So
yeah.
That's fine.
I mean,
right.
At the end of the day, it would be such a capitulation if we were to miss out on top four. Talk of the title is just, giddy,
fanciful at the moment.
Fanciful talk. But in terms of a top four push, after 10 games to have 27 points and have such a foundation, how many times have we got to this part of the season where it's either been a dodgy start or the autumn is starting to catch up on us and we're already kind of chasing our tails? but to be so far ahead of the pack.
Okay, see, the rather annoying thing is that Spurs have had their best start to a season as well, so they're not as
Still
far
below us,
behind
though.
us. Sorry?
Still below us, though, aren't they?
Yeah. So we're 11 points with the game more played ahead of 5th spot.
Yeah, this is the thing. Looking at other teams, Liverpool are the sort of side that could put a run of 10 wins together.
Yeah.
And then seriously put themselves back in contention. Chelsea look annoyingly settled.
Yeah, but they've not played anybody any good since Potter's taken over, which is exactly why they sacked Tuchel when they did.
I think that's a bit disrespectful to
who?
Milan.
Milan. Name an Italian club that's successful in Europe.
Well, yeah,
Champions
true,
League.
And they did have a lot of injuries, but still, I don't know.
And they had a player sent off after 30 minutes.
Yeah. But I still think Chelsea look a little bit settled. Mount's hitting form again. Aubameyang will have his typical purple patch when he starts for a club until he decides that he's the big I am. Man U are a massive question mark over them. But yeah, Tottenham aren't going away.
So Man United, Tottenham tomorrow. Who do you want to win? Draw? Both drop points.
I mean, both dropping points is obviously the best outcome.
I don't want Spurs to win. That's what I don't want.
No, Spurs win is the worst result.
Yeah.
I mean, I know how you feel about Man United. I wouldn't care for a. The thing is, if Man United win, I still feel like a dodgy result is around the corner.
Yeah.
Whereas if Tottenham lose, I get the feeling they will probably bounce back next game. Do you know what I mean? They're that sort of team. You know, if all right, they might lose to Man United, but Kane will suddenly bag a hat trick against whoever they've got next.
Win a penalty.
Yeah, Spurs not winning is ideal.
Yes, Spurs cannot win that game. That's from an Arsenal perspective in the league table.
And that's tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's only because if they win, they're only a point behind us.
Yeah, that's really annoying.
Although our next two games are against two teams in the bottom three. So you can't. All right, we can look at Southampton away and think, well, we lost there last year, or know.
And this is it. I'm conditioned. You just saying, "Oh, we're playing a team in the bottom three," made me go.
Yeah.
I feel sick.
But you couldn't ask for two easier fixtures and away to Southampton, home to Forest. Now, it doesn't. I'm not saying we'll win them.
You're making it worse.
No, but I'm not saying we'll win them. I'm convinced we won't get 6 points from those two games because
we're conditioned.
Us.
It's the conditioning.
But if you look at that, if you take emotion out of it, if I told you, for example, let's say this is 2 games to go before the end of the season and we're 4 points clear of Man City and Man City's last 2 games are away to Southampton and home to Forest, you're all day long not just thinking 6 points, but you're thinking that's a plus 10 goal difference from those 2 games alone. Yeah. So take that emotion out of it. Be objective. Away to Southampton, home to Forest, and actually away to Wolves. I don't know who they'll have as a manager by then, but they're 3 of our next 4 games. Our other game there is away to Chelsea before the World. So it's away to Southampton, home to Forest, away to Chelsea, and away to Wolves in the last before the World Cup. And I watched the Chelsea Villa game. Villa should have what's his name? The goalkeeper, not Mendy, the other guy.
Martinez.
No. The Chelsea. He was the man of the match. I watched it. I could not believe Villa. Villa should have scored 2 or 3 in the first half alone. Chelsea. I know you said they're settled already. Chelsea are not. They've come up against no one since Potter's taken over. Now I'm not saying that's. I know that's an open goal for us. It's not a way to, winning at Stamford Bridge will be hard fought, hard earned, etc. And we will have to ride our luck a little bit, I'm sure. But if we play to our potential, we'll win that game. Doesn't matter what Chelsea do, because I think that's no injuries. That's everyone playing that's playing, and playing to our potential. We're top of the league for a reason. Those 11 players playing to the best of their ability can beat pretty much every team. The only team we've not been tested against really is Man City. We've beaten Liverpool, we've beaten Spurs, we lost to Man United away. where we always lose, but we were the better team. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's in City last year we were unlucky to lose to them. Which started all this.
I don't know why. Something's crept in after the Leeds game that's making me a bit nervous about.
I can intellectualize that performance quite comfortably. We did a 3,500 mile round trip. We only got back at the Friday afternoon. Jesus is the only person who didn't travel of that starting 11. We then left London on Saturday afternoon to fly up to Leeds. So we had no time, no respite. We played on a plastic pitch that saps the leg energy completely. And we were okay first half. Leeds are lower mid-table team in every metric bar one, and that's tackles made. They are number one in tackles made. They were undefeated at Ellen Road this season. So you factor all those things in, and no wonder that second half. I think we did amazingly well to keep a clean sheet and to come out of that game unscathed with 3 points within the context of what was happening around it. Now we're away to Southampton in the next league game on Sunday, 2:00 kickoff. I'm guessing. We're home to PSV on Thursday, and we're away to PSV on Thursday. We're home to PSV, and it's a 5:45 or 6:00 kickoff.
Yeah,
they'll be nicely tucked up in bed by 11. And all that rest. So I don't expect the same energy now. We've been very lucky with injuries. Emil Smith-Rowe, El Neni, that's about it really. Zinchenko, obviously, but I mean, of all the positions on the pitch, left back is probably our strongest. So Zinchenko's absence, I do think Tomiyasu. I'd be amazed if Kieran Tierney doesn't play at left back against Southampton. I think Tomiyasu did struggle a little bit in your game. I don't know how it was, how you felt. And I've only seen half-hour highlights. I didn't see the game. Yeah, no, for sure. But you look. But
it was a mix of as off it as we were. You said about Leeds press. I've not seen a team against us press like they did. It seemed like when certain Arsenal players picked up the ball, they were doubled up, and that the Leeds players were just relentless and quick, and they were just snapping at our players' heels. But there were certain players, Partey and Odegaard particularly, they would just hound all day, and they got no joy apart from the odd occasion. Leeds were on it. They were clearly missing that little bit of quality in the final third. Losing a player like Rafinha will do that. Jack Harrison is a good player, but I didn't see a huge amount from him. They were just on it. And like you say, I suppose we did dig in.
Ironically, Gabriel was probably our man of the match out of the outfield players up until that little moment he had where he got a bit emotional. I heard Rio Ferdinand talk about how he doesn't like an emotional centre half, and Gabriel is an emotional centre half, and he needs to be careful about that. But he won. He basically he was the stronger of the two centre backs against Leeds. Saliba was kind of a bit more vulnerable to him, but then in that atmosphere, Saliba won't have encountered anything like that before. I mean, Anfield probably might run it close in terms of if they're playing that high press game against us. So I can see the I can justify and explain objectively why we just disappeared in that second half.
So you're fairly confident of the week coming up then?
Well, no, this will be the next test. If I'm right, Southampton away will be an easy win, like Brentford away was.
Right.
It's.
Did we have a Europa game before Brentford?
We lost to Man United before Brentford. I don't know if we played in Europe as well. So was Man United game a midweek game? I don't think it was because my
No,
mate
Man
was
United
there.
was Sunday because I was there.
Yeah. So I don't know if we played Europa League between United and Brentford, but I know that. Oh no, we did. I'm sure we did play Europa League actually because we won.
We beat Zurich 2-1.
Right. So we did. Right. So I think if we beat PSV, I think we've qualified.
Well, we want to be top. That's the thing.
Yes, we do want to be top because we want to
probably
save
will
ourselves 2
qualify,
games.
but Arteta is very set on getting top spot.
Yeah.
Which is why it will be a relatively strong side. I mean, Turner will still be in goal. It will be Rob Holding and one other at centre back. Tierney, you would assume, comes back in.
Definitely.
And then Cedric was on the bench, so I wonder if
Cedric should play. Yeah. I think Partey will not play.
Partey will be wrapped up in cotton wool.
Erdegaard
Xhaka might play again. I mean, Xhaka was okay.
Erdegaard will probably be on the bench and Vieira will start. That seems to be their.
And I wouldn't be adverse to that. Lokonga.
Oh God, no! That's yeah.
It's just then about depends on Saka and Martinelli and the options there. Marquinhos probably deserves another run out, especially at home.
And Eddie, if Jesus is carrying a bit of a knock, then he does not play.
I think so, and he was quiet against Leeds, although he didn't have a huge amount to lift off because the midfield just couldn't get their passing going as much as we would have liked. I mean, the build-up to goal. I mean, now I've just mentioned Saka. We were watching the build-up, and everyone was kind of like, okay, we're putting a few more passes together. But when that ball went over to Saka, no one expected a goal from there. You know, we're down the other end and in the other corner diagonally, and the place erupted more out of shock than anything.
The angle was ridiculous.
What a player!
What's that? 3 winners in a week.
It's crazy. We sort of said at the start of the season, you know, before the season started, we were like, it's got to be Martinelli. Martinelli's got to up his numbers. You know, more goals and assists. Well, Martinelli started the season doing that. And we were saying, Saka's a bit quiet, not quite yet started. And now Saka is on fire. They're dovetailing. You know, you shut down one player and another player steps up. It's just brilliant.
I was talking to someone at school on Monday, and they were like, "Oh, if Jesus is like, you're so reliant on Jesus," and I said, "Are we? This is a Spurs fan.
Goals. We're reliant on his play."
Well, it's a Spurs fan. I said, how many goals has he got this season? And they said, so he's got 5. That's in 10 games. That's not like golden boot. It's not golden boot levels. I said, we've got goal threat from multiple players this season. And I said, that's what, hang on, I'm just looking.
You're looking at the team stats?
No, I'm looking for... it must be league.
Or do you want all competitions?
Competition total. I was looking at Arsenal's top goal scorers.
In the league or overall?
Overall, every competition. Because I read somewhere that I thought that Saka's drawn level with Ray Parlour for...
Oh, I don't know.
For goals, which would be ridiculous if it is the case, because he's only 21.
Yeah.
And Parlour played like through peak Wenger years when we were scoring goals for fun.
I mean, the goal spread, I've only got the league up here. You know, the fact that Saliba's got 2, Gabriel's got 1, because you want your centre-backs to chip in every now and again, use that set-piece advantage. And then, like you say, Jesus has got 5. You know, striker chipping away at goals, 1 in 10, like it's 1 in 2, isn't it? You know, every other game scoring a goal, but he's got assists as well. But then Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, 4, 4, and 3. That's where the threat, like you shut down one and another one is able to come to the fore. That's a potent attack. And it, you know, yes, there is obviously a little bit of a drop off with Nketiah or maybe Vieira or Marquinhos or whatever, but it's not that far a drop off.
No, you know, and we don't with it. I reckon if you played Eddie in those 10 games that Jesus gave Eddie the same minutes, I reckon Eddie's got at least 5 goals as well. Exactly. He doesn't necessarily offer everything that Jesus does, but in
Yeah.
terms of actual goal, I'm sure he's got at least 5 goals in those 10 games as well.
You're
And
not
and
fixing-
Vieira has Vieira got 2 goals for us?
in Europe, yeah, I've only got Premier League.
Not minimal minutes though as well. You know,
Well, exactly.
so that's so. But yes, Marquinhos would be the big drop off, playing Marquinhos instead of Saka. But then that's what Emil Smith Rowe would have been used for.
I mean, it says a lot. I mean, minutes played in the Premier League. You know, the first 11, as you understand it. I mean, the left backs and the full backs are a bit different, but they're all playing. Gabriel 900 minutes, Saliba 900 minutes, Jesus just over 800 minutes. You know, that is a settled side. Xhaka 897, Saka 878. You know, they're playing that we've got a settled 11 with the other players chipping in. Vieira's only played about 130 minutes and Nketiah's 100 minutes. But that's why, you know, we've essentially got 2 teams, one for the Europa, one for the Premier League.
Okay, so the other thing about the World Cup, we've got 4 games left till we break for the World Cup.
Yeah.
3 away, 1 at home. I mean, I'd be delighted with a 10-point haul from those 4 games. I'd be absolutely stoked. The draw, obviously, being at Chelsea. That would be like...
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. We'd still be top, guaranteed, regardless what City did.
Yeah.
But then we've not only just got the World Cup, but we've actually got what I think would be more akin to the summer transfer window.
Right.
So I don't think we can afford not to be active in the January transfer window. We couldn't afford not to be active in the last January transfer window, and it ultimately cost us because we know that Partey is quite fragile.
Well, to me, the one thing that you would probably look to do is get that midfielder in.
Right. Well, Douglas Luiz has signed a new contract with Villa. Tielemans, you'd probably pick him up for 5 or 6 million now because, you know, he's not. There's no indication he'll be signing another contract.
There's also no indication that he's playing that well either.
Yeah, I mean, Leicester are off the bottom, aren't they? But so, and I don't know, is he a Partey replacement anyway? But he is experienced, and you don't know. You know, you put a player. He's obviously a Premier League standard player, and you put him in an Arsenal team as opposed to a Leicester team, and he's going to look a lot better with better players around him. So,
and chances are he's going to go off to the World Cup with Belgium and maybe be refreshed by that.
Yeah, yes, because and I don't know. Is there another? You know, I'm sure. Look, we've had 2 transfer windows in this 2 summer transfer windows, in which Wenger, I was going to say, Edu and Arteta have earned our trust.
Yeah.
But I would, and look, they'll know better than anybody that January was an opportunity to purchase someone. I think we got rid of 6 players in January from an already small squad.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I think we're still looking for those 2 positions, a striker and a midfielder, another goal threat. And, you know, Arteta has expressed that before.
And that's even with Smith Rowe and El Neni due to come back as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, El Neni is a safe pair of hands, but he's not going to win us a league title.
Not over a long period of time.
No. But Emil is another goal threat.
To still go?
I mean, it depends. He's at Southampton.
Did we sell him?
I don't know. I'm hoping we loaned him because he won't play against us. He was in their starting 11 their last game anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess you could say if we got a centre back, then Holding would be surplus to requirements. If we got
I don't think you need to do anything to the defence.
No, I don't. I don't. I'm just thinking of what players would be Cedric and Holding would be the only 2 I could think of, but I wouldn't get rid of them. I'd keep them because, like El Neni, they could be important squad players. Like, you know, home to Forest. If let's say that Ben White has got an injury and you want to keep Tomiyasu for the bigger games, then when you play Cedric at home to Forest, and I don't think you shouldn't come a cropper that, there. So I'd keep, and same with Holding. You could play Holding at home against Nottingham Forest if you're thinking that, well, let's say Gabriella was suspended and you didn't want to play Saliba or something. You play Ben White and Holding together. I don't know. It's like they offer you a bit of a safety net as well. But at the back, though, I think we're completely covered in every position. We'd need a bit of an injury crisis to occur for us to be in trouble there. The two, I guess the two players, the Partey's the main one. There's no replacement for him. The drop-off in quality is great there. You think about Jesus as well, perhaps. But also, I really don't want Aaron Ramsdale getting injured. I don't know how good Turner is. He had a good game in the Europa League against Bodo Glimt. I mean, that was widely regarded as his best game in terms of shot stopping, but also with the ball at his feet, which he acknowledges is his weakness, if you like. But I just think Ramsdale offers so much more on the pitch. I don't want to find out how we'd cope without.
But isn't that true of a lot of teams? I mean,
yes.
In the best teams, their second keeper is usually a bit of a drop off. I mean, Chelsea have got this weird thing where, Kepa came highly rated, very expensive,
60-70 million,
and
wasn't
then
he?
Mendy just came in and showed him up to be a bit of a clown, and now they're sort of roles reversed. But otherwise, I mean, I don't even know who United's second keeper is because Dean Henderson.
I do. It's Dubravka they bought from Newcastle.
Oh, from Newcastle. Well, he's actually,
and he's a good. He was a good goalkeeper. I mean, I don't know how old he is, but
Spurs have got Forster.
Who's Liverpool's goalkeeper second choice?
Is it
that Irish guy? The Irish guy.
Kelleher. Yeah,
Kelleher.
Yeah. He's all right. I mean, he's also a good penalty taker as well.
Yeah.
Our players on loan. Just got this here. So we've got a couple of players. I mean, Renarsson and Trusty are young players that are out. Pablo Mari is still technically an Arsenal player.
No, he's not.
No. Maitland-Niles, as we said.
Is he on loan?
Maitland-Niles?
Yeah. Oh, good. So he can't play against us. Fine.
Shouldn't be able to, no. And then the two in France, we've got Tavares and Pepe.
No, we've got someone else in France, Balogun.
Oh, and Balogun as well. Sorry, yeah.
Who's actually only Messi has scored more than him, or something like that in Liga.
Yeah, although his team aren't doing very well overall.
No, but he's still scoring goals, which is even more of a testament to his ability. If he comes back in a similar vein of form as Saliba has, I don't think we can complain about that. No. We wouldn't need another striker. That would be with him, Eddie, and Jesus.
It's things like that make me think that they're probably not going to dip into the thing. I mean, midfield is different because there's no one obvious there that can come in and be recalled. Whereas Balogun is one for the future. Pepe needs to go before they probably invest in another winger.
What's his name? Zaha, isn't he out of contract in the summer?
Yes, and he scored tonight as well.
Did he? Did Palace win?
Yeah, 2-1. He scored the winner. Yeah. But what do you pay for someone who is in their 30s, is towards the end of their contract, but is also really quite good?
Okay, I point back to Manchester United, Henrik Larsson.
Well, yeah.
They did someone else as well. Who else did they do as well? They bought someone else late into their career who did really well. Now, not the guy last year, the Uruguayan, I can't remember his name. But before that.
Well, that was Cavani last year.
Yeah, Man United fans loved him, but he just wasn't.
Ibrahimovic. And
yes, absolutely, yeah.
The other, the striker, his name, he played for Monaco. Oh, it's gone. Mad. I can't remember his name now. Falcao?
Oh, yes, yeah.
God, United do a number in players who are well over 30, but, were big on Football Manager at some point.
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
He's scoring still.
So yeah, midfielder. That's what we need.
Well, yeah, they may not have dropped 60 million on Casemiro, which was a bit of an odd one because I don't know. I know he started against Newcastle, but again, that's not a game they won.
Hit the bar.
What
Yeah,
was
but
he?
they didn't concede, so it wasn't really necessarily down to him, was it? There's something not right there. They're just a basket case of a club, and I'm so glad we've got our process going on, and it's all going well.
When will it not? When will it stop?
Well, this is the thing. Like, what? How do we react when it starts to not go well?
Well, we lost at Man United.
The key is exactly the key. We've lost. We have lost. It's and
I've got a question for you.
What?
We weren't scheduled to be playing PSV this week. We were scheduled to be playing Manchester City at the Emirates tomorrow night.
We absolutely were.
Bearing in mind our performance and energy levels, second half in particular against Leeds, and City smarting after being beaten at Anfield, do you think that the fixture list has done us a good one again?
Yes.
Yeah, I must admit, I did think, I'd much rather be playing PSV than Man City.
Another reason to pay your respects to Her Majesty, because that's why the PSV game was cancelled. And I must admit, I mean, like Liverpool, absolutely smashing Rangers and smashing Bournemouth after bad defeats. Man City smarting after a defeat like that. I wouldn't want to be the team that faces them next.
Who have they got next?
Hang on.
West Ham. They're playing West Ham at home.
Poor old David Moyes. So yeah, they'll be Brighton.
No, they're playing West Ham. Oh no, Liverpool are playing West Ham. Sorry.
Brighton.
I knew it was someone. Where are they playing Brighton?
They've got at home, and Brighton can't score. I watched some of Brighton Forest today, and it was just painful to watch.
Oh, what was the score?
0-0.
Oh wow!
It was really painful to watch because Forest couldn't get anything going, and then Brighton had all the play, but
was Trossard
penetration.
Was Trossard playing?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They scored 3 at Anfield like a week and a half ago, but they were crap against Spurs.
Yep. So.
Yeah, I'd much rather be facing Brighton, a Potterless Brighton, than if he was still there. But
so I fear for Brighton.
Yeah,
I think they'll be absolutely mullered.
Well, we thought that City would get 10 against Southampton, didn't we? And they only got 4 in the end. But right. So yeah, I'm pleased we're not playing Man City. So Southampton away. Are you going?
I'm not going to this one. No. I'm still traumatized by the New Year's Day 2-0 defeat several years ago, where I didn't have a very good time, and I don't like it.
Yeah, and then Forest at home. That's the Sunday, second weekend of the half term.
Yeah.
On the 30th.
Yeah. PSV away. I could have gone to, but I've got no money. So.
Oh yeah, PSV's in half term away. Yeah, that'd be. I mean, that's our hardest game in the group, isn't it? So.
You'd think so, yeah.
Well, it depends and see how we do against them.
Mm.
Who's the player that we were sniffing around? The striker or the right winger?
Begins with the G. I can't remember his name now. All I keep thinking about is how Van Nistelrooy is
the manager. Yeah.
And that'd be an interesting one.
He'll be on the receiving end of a wonderfully welcoming and warm reception at the Emirates, I'm sure, on Thursday.
32, do your job.
Yeah, it's like just a weird time kickoff though, 6 o'clock.
Well,
I'm not going to see it again. I'm not going to see any of the game. It's like last time.
I will see the first half an hour, and then the last bit of it.
So because I'll see none of it. It's too long a game it's too long to watch on live as live when I get in. So I'm just gonna follow it on Twitter. And then although the away game is a 5:45 kickoff, the following week. But of course, it's half term, so I will actually get to see that.
Yeah, I'm at a wedding on that Thursday, so I might not get to see it at all.
Oh.
Yeah, our friends are getting married.
Are they teacher friends?
They are teacher friends. Yeah,
So that'd be the half term then.
exactly. Yeah, save some money.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look, it's there's all sorts of kind of hushed tones at school amongst the Arsenal supporting staff because we're very, very happy, which is very, very unusual.
But we're not getting carried away.
And we're not, yeah, we'd absolutely, and I love the fact that everybody still writes us off. I love it.
But it's the fact that it's not even writes us off. It's that everyone expects City to win it. So no one talks about anyone else winning the title. Like, even if they mention other teams, it's sort of, with a wry smile. And so the pressure is just off. And so really what I like is that the rhetoric from Arteta and Edu and the other coaches and the players is the pressure they're putting on themselves. That those levels that they're setting themselves, those demands of high performance, high effort, high energy, high commitment, or whatever intangibles is all self-generated, and you need that because that there were days gone by, and it wasn't. That was the thing. Like on Sunday against Leeds, we just weren't very good. There wasn't one moment where people thought, "Oh, we're not really putting the effort in." It wasn't about that.
Yeah,
it was just, the passes were going awry. We weren't really well connected and all those sorts
and that happens to every team.
Oh, it's football, isn't it? Yeah. Sport.
It's the trick is winning those games.
And we did.
There was a 1-0 to the Arsenal chant that came from somewhere,
Yeah.
Arteta's mantra is very much one game at a time, which is great. Feet on the ground, and
the one thing I think he's really got an eye on is topping the group, because you get a bye in the round of 32.
Yeah, you two less games
straight into the 60, and that at that point after the World Cup will be massive. That will be massive.
And have you had a look at the teams currently occupying third spot in the Champions League groups?
Don't get me started. Another absolute horror thing from the modern football, where you lose one competition but you go into another because we can't have those teams missing out. I mean, it's just an absolute bloody mockery of the whole thing.
It risks looking like being even more difficult to win than the actual Champions League itself.
Yeah,
some of those things. Barcelona are currently third.
Yeah,
Juventus.
I mean,
like
I don't
Atletico Madrid.
Football fans, we are stupid because we did all that protesting for the Super League against the Super League because we don't want to close shop. We relegation and jeopardy is part of their tradition. Well, have a look. It is a closed shop. It's a massively closed shop in terms of the distribution of wealth given on league position and the disparity that creates, and then all this dropping down out of the Champions League into the Europa League. That means it's pretty much a closed shop. It's bloody rubbish. So I just hate it. And it's Barcelona. We're going to lose to bloody Barcelona, aren't we? And it's going to be a Lewandowski hat trick.
At least it won't be Aubameyang scoring against us.
Yeah.
I read today that there's a mini pre-season Premier League in the States before next season. 6 teams, 2 groups, something like that. I don't know who's in it. No, but it's their first step towards a meaningful game abroad, which has been mooted for a long time. And no, just no. Like, I'm not giving up home advantage in any game for money elsewhere overseas. But it's like, how many American owners are in the Premier League now? And at what point do they get to vote? And then it'll be the American cartel.
Well, that's when we jack it in and we go support Dial Square.
Yeah. Our Potters Bar United.
Yeah.
They're doing all right. They're in like the 7th tier.
Are they?
Towards the top. It's the highest they've ever been. I keep an
My
eye out.
nearest team is Kings Lynn. They're
Yeah,
national.
they're. I think they're another league above. They'll be a league above Potters Bar. The Isthmian Premier League is the Potters Bar League.
Nice.
Yeah. Ripe for development. That. So right, we haven't really talked about the Leeds game much, but
Because it was a bit crap. We talked about the important bits were the 40-minute VAR delay and then the farce around the penalty that was offside, and Gabriel, who did one of those kick-outs. And
did it Gabriel?
Bamford jumped on the floor like he'd been shot. Only for it all to be then delayed further and looked at and peered over while we don't have a clue what's bloody going on.
I knew what was going on.
Yeah, well, good for you. Keep paying your subscription. Yeah,
it wasn't on telly.
And I'll keep.
Oh, it wasn't even on telly. It wasn't even on telly. I couldn't even watch it.
The funniest post I saw online was someone said that my illegal stream is so delayed that Arsenal and Leeds haven't even kicked off the first time yet.
Yeah, lots of people were complaining about the poor streaming, but it's a farce though.
We have to do that.
The only fans who couldn't legally watch that game were the fans in this country.
Yep. But I mean, that's how the Premier League has made its money.
And that's how it'll make more money. It'll be the overseas viewing rights. That's where the big bucks is going to keep coming, because
ultimately, I read this many, many years ago, but I'm sure it might have been only about 10, 15 years ago that it was at a time when the Bundesliga and La Liga and other countries were looking to sort of increase their revenue. And I'm sure I read at the time that the entire amount that the Bundesliga earned from worldwide TV sales was the equivalent of what the Premier League got from somewhere like Taiwan, which is just insane. So, the fact that they got there first and did it has just bloated and accelerated, where we're at the minute in this country.
Yeah,
it's just insane.
It is the kind of like with the, I don't know what's happening to the Spanish clubs, but I mean they split up their television rights very differently. It's more proportional. It's like just Barcelona and Real Madrid, really. That's it.
Yeah.
And now there's no competition there, really. It's just those two. Whereas, we can get Southampton in the bottom three beating top placed Arsenal on Sunday.
Have there been any really shock results?
Okay. Man United losing 4-0 at Brentford.
Yes. Yeah, that would definitely tick that box and that criteria. But contextually, you'd probably go, do you know what? That Man United are all over the shop, and Brentford.
Man City drawing 0-0 at Villa, or 1-1 at Villa.
Yes, yeah, that one definitely.
In particular, that one. I know they drew at Newcastle as well, but Newcastle are a different beast this year. But Villa away, 1-1 Villa away, Man City. That's a terrible result. Liverpool, lots of Liverpool results. Possibly, I don't know who they lost to. Us and us. Did they lose? They lost to someone before us, did they? I think they must have. Oh, Man United beat them, but that's not a shock result.
Yeah, not a real shock. There's not many.
Then Chelsea have had a few poor results, but Spurs haven't lost to anyone. And we're the only team that's beaten Spurs. No, I don't. No, probably not. I mean, Brentford 4-0. Brentford 4-0 United and Man City.
Brighton beat United, didn't they? Opening day.
At Old Trafford, yes.
At Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah, I'm looking back. I can't see much too shocking, like really shocking.
Brighton again, actually, 2-0
Brighton,
up and
Liverpool,
3-2 up. Yeah,
3-2.
against Liverpool. Yeah, after. Um,
Mm.
um,
Yeah, there's not
no,
much.
I think the biggest shock result was Man United beating Arsenal.
Yeah, probably was. Cool.
Right. Okay.
Let's see.
Right. Let's knock it on the head. Right.
Top
Where
of
are
the
we
league.
up next? Yeah. So PSV Thursday, Tuesday today, Thursday today. It's been a difficult game to talk about, being as I won't see a minute of it.
And I won't see all of it.
No. So we'll see about that. But we'll certainly catch up then on Sunday, because of quite a bit earlier, actually. Sunday post Southampton kickoff.
Are we on
Right.
telly?
I don't know.
I'm looking. We're on telly. Yes.
Oh, damn it.
Damn it.
It means I have to watch it and I
And
can't.
that's
It's
followed
too...
by Spurs Newcastle, which will be an interesting game.
A friend of mine went to the Man United Newcastle game, and he said that what was interesting about Newcastle is from almost the first minute, they were all about spoiling the game, slowing it down, breaking it up, delaying tactics, time wasting. And that didn't come across on the commentary. Wasn't listening to the game, but the actual feedback as the game was progressing.
Yeah.
So that was interesting, because that's a good way to go to Spurs. Play them at their own game.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. Spurs. So that's 2 tough games for Spurs. Away to United and home to Newcastle. They get 6 points.
If they get 6 points, they'll start to believe. Don't bear thinking about.
No. Anyway,
Man United have got Chelsea at the weekend. That's the evening game on Saturday.
So that's United play. So I presume that's Chelsea.
That's at Chelsea. Liverpool Forest. Oh dear.
Well, okay. So I was just going to say, well, if United get 6 points from those 2 games, so actually those 2 things can't happen. Spurs and United cannot get a full 6 points from their next 2 games. So we're not going to. Yeah, that's
something.
Yeah. It was lovely watching the Liverpool City game, wanting City. I know you've slightly disinclined to agree with this, but it was lovely watching it. I mean, there were 2 reasons. One was the Invincibles, obviously, but it was nice watch. I actually got like big shout get in when Liverpool scored, and my first thought was City dropping points, and it's so nice to actually have that even enter the mindset after so many years where that was just never. It was always right. Who's our challengers for 4th spot? Not looking at who's the challengers for 2nd and 1st. It's like it's not nice bit of nostalgia, actually. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, it wasn't so much that I wanted Man City to beat Liverpool. It was just that, my dislike of Liverpool meant that,
Wouldn't you rather be 4 points ahead of Man City now than 1 point?
Well, obviously, I'd rather be
right.
4.
There you go. So that's.
But it doesn't. Football doesn't have any.
It does. It does. But that is logical.
Because if Liverpool lose, I'm still going to enjoy all the moaning and groaning and all the coverage that would pour onto them because of their lowly league position and points tally and all that kind of stuff, and the fact that once again Man City beat them. But I'm just as entertained by the fact that Man City dropped points, and it was all a bit controversial. And
Man City have only played 2 teams in 2 of the top big 6. And they've dropped 7 points. We've played 3 teams of the big 6 and dropped 3 points.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that throughout the season. But what are we? We're 10 games in, so we're just about a quarter of the way in. If we go by the same process, we're only going to lose 4 games this season, and we're going to win 34.
That would be probably enough to win the league.
I think that's enough to win the league.
Yeah.
So long
as one of those, so long as 2 of those defeats don't occur against Man City.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. You know, once upon a time when we were winning the league under Wenger, you could afford to lose 6 games in a season and still win the league. In the early Wenger and Fergie days, that's just not the case now.
No.
You can get away with 2 or 3 defeats at most.
Mm.
It does help that we're not drawing games. That does ease that burden somewhat as well. I think if we don't draw the next 2 games, it's an all-time record of consecutive games without a draw at the top flight. Obviously, we're going to draw the next 2 games now. You know. Right, on that bombshell, we've gone over an hour.
To an hour. Yeah.
Right, let's say goodbye. Have a good week. See you on Sunday. Get in.
Cheerio.